Hello and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Cassia. On this channel we discuss all aspects of the ascension process. I have a variety of services that I offer to assist in your awakening journey, and you can find those listed in the description box below. Today we're going to be doing the daily reading for Tuesday, January 5th, 2020. And today is a day that's ruled by the third eye and guided by endlessness. And it is actually a portal day today. We had a portal day on Sunday as well. And so these are the portals according to the galactic calendar. These are days where we want to take extra care to make sure that we're hydrated, to make sure that we're rested, to make sure that we are treating our bodies well and listening to our bodies and what it is that they need. Because we are receiving DNA upgrades, we are receiving activations, and all of these adjustments to our light bodies take a toll on our physical bodies as well. And so we really want to care for ourselves and nurture ourselves every day, but especially on portal days such as this. It's also a day where communication with the other realms is much easier. And so we can really play around with that and enjoy that. And today is all about communication. And we're going to get into that right now. So the galactic gateway of today is the white solar wind. And so the White Wind tribe is all about communication, spirit, and breath. And it's this understanding that our breath is our connection to spirit, and that we can strengthen this connection as we play around with the ways that we utilize our breath. We are actually breathing in life force energy when we breathe. And so really playing with the ways that we are breathing, as well as the ways that we are communicating, helps connect us more deeply to spirit. This is a day where we're really wanting to merge with our higher minds and to communicate those higher truths that come through, to share our inspiration, to share our divinations, and to share ideas and perspectives and enrich each other's lives through that process of communicating our own truths and hearing and witnessing the truths of others as well. And we have this paired with the solar tone. And the solar tone is all about intention. It's also about telepathy. And so it's about radiating our intention out into the world. And when paired with this white wind tribe, it's very much about speaking our intention. Speaking our intentions to others, making those clear, letting those be known. Speaking our intentions to spirit as well, right? Communicating our wants, our needs, our desires. And really radiating that pure focused intention out into the world so that we can manifest what it is that we desire. And the affirmation for today is, I pulse in order to communicate, realizing breath. I seal the input of spirit with the solar tone of intention. I am guided by the power of endlessness. I am a galactic activation portal. Enter me. And this actually pairs really well with the astrology that we have going on today too, which is very much about the mind and communication. I'm finding it very fascinating that we've had a lot of grand trines going on. The last few readings that I've done, and yes, I didn't get time to do one yesterday, but the two readings before that, we had a fire trine first, then we had an earth trine, so it's like the inspiration, the motivation, and then the ability to put that into concrete form with that earth trine. And now we have a grand trine in air going on today. And so this is really fun and really interesting because this is all about the mind. This is all about, yes, that communication piece. And so it's like communicating our ideas, communicating and really getting a grander perspective. Now that we've been sort of motivated and then given the ability to start taking constructive action, we get to review, we get to analyze, we get to play around with different ideas, maybe communicate, share, and exchange ideas with others so that we can fine-tune that creation and that manifestation. So this is super fun energy. And this grand trine that we have going on is between the moon, true black moon, and then both Jupiter and Saturn. And this is a loose trine. It's not exact. It's a few degrees off in each one, but I mean, it's close enough that and the energies of these three trines together are so fascinating that I'm definitely calling it. I feel very strongly that this is a significant thing that we have going on right now. I feel like it's a lot about integration too, right? Trines are all about harmonizing. So it's us harmonizing a lot of the activations that we've received throughout 2020, us harmonizing once again the understandings and the realizations and the ways of processing and acting upon those, and just harmonizing all of the energies and the way that those energies are experienced and expressed through us. So I really, really like this energy. We do have true black moon, who today is moving into Gemini. Or she may have actually yesterday. I'm not, like we said, we didn't do the reading yesterday. I didn't check, but she is now at 1 degrees of Gemini. And so this is where we're looking at, and we're dealing with when True Black Moon was in Aries, we were very much dealing with our empowerment, right? And anywhere where we felt repressed or suppressed and the desire to rebel when it comes to our personal authority and autonomy and empowerment. When True Black Moon moves into Gemini, it's about where have we felt repressed or suppressed when it comes to our ability to communicate, our ability to speak our truth, our ability to claim sovereignty over our minds, right? And so this is what we're looking at and what we're working with as True Black Moon is now in the sign of Gemini. And we have this energy, of course, connecting with the moon, which is in Libra today, and Jupiter and Saturn, which are in the 1st degrees of Aquarius. And so that's what a grand trine is, when you have all of the different, the signs that represent the elements present in this trine together. Creating this harmonious energy. And so the moon in Libra is very much about fairness, balance, harmony, relationships. So we're really looking at that. And Aquarius is that forward thinking energy, that independent energy. So it's a harmonization of our ability to be autonomous while at the same time being harmonious in relationship to others and to the world around us, and also being very active when it comes to and liberated when it comes to the ways that we think and the ways that we communicate. And so a lot of that communication energy, we've been feeling this kind of warming up, right? There have been some, with any of these trines, I've been feeling this positive influx or influence toward communications. And so this is really like firmly establishing that if there were a day where communication was a good idea, today is absolutely that day. We do want to be careful, and we want to watch how we're communicating, because we have Mercury itself squaring Mars and Eris, although Mars and Eris are moving apart now, so it's gently moving apart. They're still pretty close. They're 5 degrees, almost 6 degrees apart now. So their energy isn't quite as intertwined anymore. But we do have Mercury making squares to each of them right now. And so this is still that kind of push-pull, that especially with Mercury very conjunct Pluto right now. It's that those power dynamics, those power struggles. So we want to make sure that we're not acting those out in our communications with other people. And just be aware when those things are present, and understand that this is something that we're all working with right now, that we're all going through. And so we are going to feel, there may very well be a need to feel, especially to communicate our empowerment to other people and to let them know that they can't walk all over us. It's very much that kind of energy, and there could be some frustration present, but there is also a lot of great beneficial communication energy. So we just want to be wary and cognizant of that aspect as well. How are we communicating? Are we utilizing the breath when we communicate, right? If we feel our blood pressure starting to go up, if we feel ourselves being triggered and wanting to react, can we take a few deep breaths and calm that, right? Can we come back into our center and really tap into that higher knowledge and wisdom that's available to us to then communicate a higher truth from a higher viewpoint? This Mercury conjunct Pluto energy is very empowering for our psyche, but it can also be very intense, especially with these squares to Mars and Eris going on. It is likely that in our internal mental world today, we are sort of going deep into our shadow. And so those deeper shadowy aspects of our psyche are being revealed for us to work through, for us to understand, so that we can gain a greater sense of freedom and empowerment. This conjunction can also bring out paranoia, obsessions, all of that stuff that lurks beneath the surface, right? And so we just want to be aware of that. We want to be present for that. We want to just notice what's coming up, be the observer as these things are brought into our reality. And there's a reason that we're going through this right now. We are being prepared for that new moon when we will have Pluto conjunct the sun. And so this is like the warm up right now, getting us into these energies, showing us the shadows of our unconscious, right? So that then we can merge that with our consciousness during this new moon and really come through a more enlightened version of ourselves, a more empowered version of ourselves, a more aware version of ourselves. And from that awareness, we can then create change. So that, I think, is really the most interesting things that we have going on. We also have the moon opposing Chiron. So that's that wounded energy, that the aspects of us that are desiring healing and have been receiving healing. And so that could also be emotionally a bit of a triggering aspect. But with this beautiful grand trine going on involving the moon, I think that's going to make it a little bit, it's going to give us a wider perspective, right? Because air signs are all about logic and the mind. They're not so much emotional. And so the moon in an air sign takes a little bit of the wind out of the sails as far as the intensity of the emotion we're experiencing. And it allows us to process our emotions from a bit more of a logical standpoint. And so we can really utilize that as any aspects of our woundedness, our healing process, with Chiron still, unless I am mistaken, in the sign of Aries. Yes. Oh, yeah, very much in the sign, at the very beginning of Aries. This is especially where it comes to our empowerment in these things. So we can see these repeating themes, right? But we're going to be able to utilize that air quality to really see things from a more detached perspective, from that perspective of the observer today. And we're going to pull a couple Moonology cards to start clear. What guidance do we have for today from the Moonology deck? And I was going to say the date, but I already forgot it. So I think it's the 4th. Is that what I said? But they know what we're talking about. We're reading for today. And so the first card out is North Node. Step out of your comfort zone. So we're really being pushed into the new energy, the fresh energy right now. The road less traveled. This is stepping out of our comfort zone when it comes to our own minds, when it comes to the way we process information, when it comes to the way we communicate, when it comes to the way that we enact ourselves in the world. Just in all these different aspects, we are being asked to step out of our comfort zone, to do the uncomfortable thing, because we know it is the thing to do that is going to provide the most growth. This is all about transformation and growth, especially right now building up to this new moon. And so where can you step out of your comfort zone? I'm feeling this is like the energy of doing something a little different too, right? Like, how can you break out of your routine? And this is wicked funny for me to say as a Taurus sun, because I get very stuck in a routine, right? And so any of you other Tauruses out there can relate, I'm sure. And so this is just incredibly like what can you do a little bit differently today, just to maybe get a little bit different of a result? Can you take a different route to work today, right? Can you incorporate something new into your routine? Can you try something new? These are different little ways that we can begin stepping out of our comfort zone. Can you start a project that maybe you're not 100% confident about, but that feels really good to you? Like, what can you do that's going to push you outside of your comfort zone? And yes, with all this communication energy, that also includes what conversations can you have if you are in a place to have those objectively, and I wanted to say appropriately, but I guess that's not the right word. If we are able to have those constructively, that's the word that I was looking for. That's another way to step out of our comfort zone. And then we have prosperity lies ahead, new moon in Taurus, right? Speaking of. And so, yeah, your prosperity lies on the other side of your comfort zone, right? It lies outside of your comfort zone. So are you willing to step outside of your comfort zone to embrace the prosperity that is waiting for you? Is really what Spirit is asking right now. And this doesn't just mean financial prosperity, although with Taurus energy, it very much can be. But that's Taurus is the earthiest of the earth signs and represents the physical realm and all manifestations of the physical realm. So yes, that is absolutely an aspect of it. But this is abundance and prosperity in any form. All of that. Love, relationships, career, family, everything, all of the prosperity, all of the things, like whatever it is that you feel makes you abundant, right? Inspiration, creativity, that's all outside, exists outside your comfort zone. So are you ready to step out of your comfort zone to embrace that? And then we have a personal issue reaches resolution and expect powerful change, which is a new moon eclipse. And we have two new moon cards out here. We're talking about that new moon, right? And then we also have a full moon card. And so this one is all about, full moons are all about releasing. And so this is like the releasing of emotion that we've still been releasing since we did have that full moon in Cancer, right? That we just, it's like powerful changes. And this came up the other day too. As a result of that full moon in Cancer and the emotional purging and the things that we realized and understood, there are powerful, maybe places where we needed to step out of our comfort zone that were shown to us. And so we can expect powerful changes when we do that, when we step out of our comfort zone. We can also expect issues, personal issues in our lives, especially ones that affect us deeply and emotionally. And absolutely ones that have to do with the home or the family. Ones that hit close to home, I guess, is the way I want to put that. It doesn't have to be a literal home. It could be a metaphorical home. Those that hit close to home emotionally. Those issues, we will find release and resolution for those as we are willing to step out of our comfort zone. And this is also like that energy of as we embrace the changes that are occurring, right? There are forces at work working excuse me, working with us to help us to resolve the issues that require resolution, right? But we have to be willing to embrace the change. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have to be willing to bring love into the situation as well. Anything else? Woo! Luck is on your side. New moon in Sagittarius, another new moon card. So a lot of forward momentum. And then once again, this coming out right next to the full moon in Cancer. Did we not have the new moon in Sagittarius before that with that powerful eclipse, right? So the two eclipses right here, the new moon eclipse and the full moon eclipse coming out again. They came out the other day. So powerful, right next to the new moon eclipse card, right? So powerful changes that were instigated by this set of eclipses that are forcing us and calling us to step outside of our comfort zone into the prosperity that is waiting for us in all aspects. So you guys we're really being urged today to look at the realizations that we had between these two eclipses. And to really understand from that, right? Utilize this air energy to really understand where we're being called to step out of our comfort zone, right? It's sort of like this energy kind of pushed us out of our comfort zone, whether we wanted to be or not. And so now the question is, do you want to crawl back? And like I say this with all respect, right? And I'm talking to myself as much as you guys. Do you want to crawl back into that hole and bury your head in the sand again because you can? Or do you want to stay? Do you want to embrace this change, embrace being outside of your comfort zone and see what riches and abundance lie in that place, right? And we are being blessed as far as that's concerned. It says luck is on your side, right? Work through your fears. New moon, another new moon card, new moon in Scorpio, very initiating energy. So this is telling me with all of these new moon cards that we are meant to be the impetus, right? Like these energies may have forced us out of our comfort zone, but it's up to us to take the action moving forward. What are we wanting to intend, right? Intention, that is the tone of the day as well, the solar tone of focused intention. What are we intending? What are we creating? How are we taking the initiative there? And what fears do we need to work through in order to be able, what fears do we have of staying outside of our comfort zone? Well, also for some people, what fears do we have relating to our prosperity and our finances and all of this? And how can we work through those fears? How can we work through those fears to get to the other side? And on the bottom of the deck, we have don't let pride get in your way. So I'm just going to leave that here. And then I want to get a couple cards out here. Clear. How can we work through these fears? Tell us some more about this. Okay. And I'm taking this one because this came out on top. The Seven of Cups. Confusion, not knowing which path to take. Taking the wrong path, I feel like, is a fear that people have right now that they're working through. Like, what if I make the wrong choice, right? Like, you're telling me to step out of my comfort zone. There's so much that's uncomfortable for me. What if I go toward the wrong thing, right? Or having all of these options and being afraid of choosing wrong. There is no wrong, first of all. Whatever we choose is what we are meant to experience next in order to continue to facilitate our transformation and our growth. So don't worry about that. And then the Tower. This is a fear coming through for people. So what is the Tower? The Tower is change. Some people may be fearing a complete demolition of their lives, everything being removed, right? The Tower comes in like a wrecking ball sometimes and sweeps away everything that is not meant for us. So it's like also this fear of giving up the things that aren't meant for us, right? just because they are comfortable, because we're not sure if something better is going to come along, maybe. The fear of new beginnings, the fear of transformation, of not knowing who and what we are, of just not knowing in general, I feel, is a big fear for people. Loss of control. And so these are some of the fears that we're being asked to work through in order to step out of our comfort zone. These are the fears that are holding us back. Any other fears that are holding us back? Who will I be without this thing, without this belief? And then, fear of stepping into our own power, stepping into our own light, right? And he's holding the chess piece. So that's once again reminding me of strategy and being afraid of making the wrong move, right? It's like fear that, I feel like for some people, it's like fear that your desires and your higher self's desires don't match up. Right? Like what you want for yourself and what spirit wants for you are not the same thing, which is absolutely not true. Our highest aspirations and dreams were given to us by spirit, right? Like we want what spirit wants for us. Our lower self, our ego mind may not think that it does, right? But as we come more into the truth of who we are, as we allow this transformation to take place, first of all, it clears up all the confusion and it brings us closer to our true selves and what it is that our true selves desire. And our true self is our soul self, right? So those desires will always be aligned. And then we have the Two of Swords, right? And so this is indecision, being afraid. It's that indecision vibe coming through very strongly. Being afraid that you won't know. It's like a fear of not being able to trust our own intuition and guidance and where it's telling us and where it's leading us, right? This is like the mind. You can see these ravens as the mind, just like constantly chirping and like distracting us, right? Drowning out our intuition. And they represent our fear. They represent our fear. And so it's really like learning how to trust ourselves. That we can't trust ourselves. That's an ultimate fear coming through. I can't trust myself to know what's right for me. I can't trust myself to make the right decisions. I can't trust the changes in my life. There's a lot of trust. We're working on building trust. And one final card. And the Knight of Swords. And this is swift, decisive action. So once again, taking the wrong action. Right? Being left behind, I'm feeling actually too from this. You see how he's chasing the motorcycle and the motorcycle's way up here, right? And he's just kind of running after it. And so we're fearing being left behind. We're fearing that if we don't take action, if we don't make a choice, we will be left behind, and we don't want to be left behind either. And for some people, this could be basic stuff like we don't want to be left behind by the people that we love, right? If we're not growing at the rate that they're growing, or if we don't make the decisions that we know that they think that we should make, that they'll leave us behind. This is also us being afraid of leaving other people behind as we ascend. And like, we're all in this together. Don't worry about that. Focus on you. But yeah, so those are a lot of the fears. And then it's that pause, that indecision. But really what this card represents is a change in perspective that shifts everything. And so that's what Spirit is asking us to do, is shift and change our perspective. I'm going to pull a couple Keepers of the Light to close. Clear. And if you guys want assistance working through any of these energies, please reach out to me. I do personal readings. I do Theta healing. I do a type of healing called Belvaspata that works with angelic energies and other beings of light. We can really work through and sort through some of this stuff. So my email is in the description box below. And so we have Master Jesus coming out, forgiveness. And this is so funny. This is coming up today. Yes. And this says, you are on the path of light, love, and forgiveness. Father healing is possible at this time. Yes, I was just watching a video from one of my lovely subscribers, Amber. She has a lovely channel, and she was talking about forgiveness and the Christ consciousness energy. And so it's just super funny that this came up again today. But yes, forgiveness. Forgiving ourselves, forgiving others, forgiving ourselves for not knowing, right? It's almost like I feel like people are being really hard on themselves right now. And we need to just relax that a little bit. You are on the path, right? This is Master Jesus, especially coming out with Dwal Kul Dharma unfolding. Remember that you are on a path. You're on the path right now. So don't question that. Don't second guess that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about making a wrong decision or a wrong turn, because there, like we said, there are no such things. And just understand that, like, if you are questioning that right now, if you are wondering if that is true, right? It is absolutely true, and you are absolutely moving down that path. So it's like forgiving ourselves for not knowing what we didn't know when we didn't know it. And having love and compassion for ourselves for where we are at in our journey right now, right? And just really allowing this energy of forgiveness to flow into all areas of our lives, right? As we forgive ourselves, we become more forgiving of others as well. So it's a lot of those energies needing to come through that wherever you can practice forgiveness in your life, anytime if you think of a person, a scenario, and it gives you some type of adverse physical reaction within your body, you know that there's forgiveness that is necessary. And so that Ho'oponopono forgiveness prayer is a really great way to start working with the energy of forgiveness. And just understand, when I forgive you, I am not condoning your behavior. I am simply liberating myself and setting myself free. Right? And seeing you as another spiritual being on a spiritual journey, who also is not perfect, who also makes mistakes, who also came here to help me learn and help me to grow, sometimes through incredible pain. Unfortunately, humans, and we're moving out of this energy, right? But the old energy was very much, we have to, like, pain is what triggers us to evolve. We're moving past that. As soon as we release that belief system that says that we have to suffer in order to learn and grow, we can be free of that. Right? And that's something that I'm working on as well, because I used to very much hold that belief. And sometimes those painful lessons are necessary, because that's what cracks open that heart, right? But eventually we come to a place where we don't need to learn through pain anymore. We can learn through grace, which is on the bottom of the deck, Paul the Venetian, experiencing grace, right? And then take one step at a time to happiness is on the bottom of this, right? And so it's very important. Like, we don't have to know the whole journey. We just have to take that first step. And we can be confused. Just go with what feels right? What feels right to you in the moment. And take that first step. What brings you joy? What brings you peace? Take a step toward that, right? That's never a wrong decision, right? When we take a step towards that which brings us peace. Yeah. Yeah. And for some people, there is family healing, especially with this full moon and this Cancer energy, which typically represents the mother, but it could represent the father as well. There may be family healing that people are dealing with right now as well. Yes. Any final cards here? And then we have Krishna, devotion. Trust your spiritual guidance. Your commitment has been recognized. You are loved unconditionally. Trust yourself. You can trust yourself. The more you trust yourself, the more strongly your guidance comes through. So Krishna is just here to remind you about that. And he is just here. They're all here to remind you that you are on a path, that you are doing an amazing job, that you can continue to walk through your fears, right? We don't have Kali's energy out here. If I kept pulling cards, I bet she would come out. I do feel her energy strongly as well. But this is like... your commitment to your spiritual journey has been recognized, even if you don't feel that it has. So just keep going, keep pushing, keep moving forward. And any final, I know I said final card, but... Lady Nada, Heart Awakening, and Saint Germain, Karma Releasing. Yeah. Yeah. Release that old karma, release the trauma, release the drama. It's not necessary anymore. Allow your heart, that heart awakening, this heart energy is huge. If you're feeling afraid, if you're feeling confused, if you're feeling a lack of trust, tap into that heart energy and allow that heart energy to be your guide. Allow it to heal you. That's why forgiveness is so key, because that really opens up and expands that heart center. Right? Yeah. And release all of those old energies that aren't serving you. Right? As we step out of our comfort zones, as we begin doing something different, as we release everything that is not in alignment and move, right, allowing that tower to come in if it needs to and clear that out, and we move toward what is in alignment, that's when we open up to all of that abundance that's waiting for us. All right. I love you guys. I appreciate you. If you liked this video, like this video. Drop a comment. Let me know how today's unfolding for you, how this reading is resonating, how the energies are resonating. I love hearing from you guys. As I said, my email is down below. Please shoot me an email if you want to work through some of these energies with me. I would love to assist you with that. There are links down below to donate as well, and that is always appreciated. I will talk to you all very, very soon.